turn around here. Turn around. I just want to introduce them. On the far end is Robert Henry Jr. He's a sophomore at Harding High School. And right here is his twin, Choskei Henry. And he's also a sophomore at Harding High School. And right here is Ruben Keto Stately. He's one of our young up-and-coming men in the community. He's just graduated from Augsburg, if I understand that correctly. And so our community has a lot of hard times. We have about a 60% high school dropout rate in the state of Minnesota. And these boys, these young men here, are kind of changing that trend. And so one day they're going to make the decisions for me when I'm an old man. And so I just wanted you to see these boys, because we have to carry these traditions on. That song that we sang is talking about Vietnam. It was a very difficult place. It was a hard fight over there in Vietnam. And it's talking about how my friends, I left a lot of them over there. And so this song is one of the songs we sing for our Vietnam veterans, our modern day warriors. And in the sense, modern day, it's been a few years now. But we still maintain our traditions with what goes on, just like the war on terror that recently has ended. We also have those songs for those veterans as well. So with that, I thank you for allowing us to sing these songs, Senator. I appreciate the folks and the kind reception.
Vice Chair of DFL Asian Pacific American Caucus. Please welcome her.
We'd also like to introduce Valen Her, Interim Chair of Hmong American Caucus, and Savante Sanantadan, Vice Chairwoman of the Minnesota DFL Party. How about a round of applause?
Hello everyone. I am Amiya with Minnesota DFL AAPI Caucus Vice Chair. Thank you all for coming out to support my friend Senator Foung in his re-elections campaign. Senator Her is one of the strongest voices of the AAPI community in the Minnesota Senate. As Minnesota's only Asian state senators, he represents our communities, cultures, and values. It is amazing to see so many familiar faces here with us today from the community events that I organized and attended with Senator Foung. Working together and with Senator Foung, we can remove barriers to the culturally appropriate service that plague the AAPI community. I encourage all of you to become involved in the political process and make your voice heard. Please consider joining me and the Minnesota DFL AAPI Caucus. Together, we will increase our community development, outreach, and support. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is Valen Her. I'm the interim chair for the Hmong American Caucus in St. Paul, or in Minnesota, and I'm here today, which Senator Foung is the co-founder of the Hmong American Caucus, and I would like to endorse him personally, endorse him tonight, and hopefully that everyone will join us and to support the Senator, and we are looking forward to endorse him maybe after the caucus or after the convention. Thank you.
Hello everyone, how's everyone feeling tonight? Are we fired up to support our Senator? Are we fired up to support our Senator? Yes! My name is and I am the second vice chair of the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party, and I am so proud to be here tonight to support my dear friend of over nearly 15 years. He said 14, almost 15, and many more. Senator Foung. From the day I met the senator to this day, he has been the same person. A man of integrity. A man who has courage, who holds himself to working for the truth and for what is right. For all of us, not just some of us, for all of us. He is a warrior in the legislature, and we are lucky that he is a warrior in our corner. In a moment when our community, the AAPI community, stands in the face of the worst anti-Asian hate our country has ever seen, we have a fighter in our corner who is our voice at the state capitol and beyond. I am so thankful for that. I want to share with you a quick story about an election that happened in Brooklyn Park this past year. There was a fabulous Democratic mayoral candidate who was running for election. He worked his tail off. He had community members from every community of color supporting him, walking the streets, knocking the doors, working to get him elected. At the end of the day in November, he lost his race. He lost his race by 2 votes. We don't have the privilege of having close elections next year. Even when we think our candidates are safe, when we think our senator is safe, we still have to work like we are behind. And so I have one ask of you. Join me. I will be out in the streets, knocking every door for him. I will be on the phones, calling every person I know. How many of you know people in Brooklyn Park? Did all of your friends and family go out and vote? We can't leave anyone behind next year. Our senator depends on it. All of our legislators depend on it. All of these great state electeds in this room who you'll get to meet tonight, they are depending on us. They go to work and fight for us every day at the Capitol. Now is our time to fight for them. So join me, come out, knock doors, make phone calls, raise some money, and let's make sure we leave no one behind. We have no room for close elections next year. Am I right? Who's with me? Who can do this? Let's do it. Let's bring it home. All right, thank you so much.
Next, I'm going to introduce you to this great, wonderful man. First of all, he's an associate professor at the Department of Family Social Science in the College of Education and Human Development at the University of Minnesota. He's also a PhD in 2000 in the Family Department of Social Science at the University of Minnesota. In addition, he also served many boards and advisor councils, including the Hmong National Development of Journals of Southeast Asia American Education and Advancement, Hmong American Partnership, and the 18th Council. So please give him a big hand of applause, Dr. Neng Xiong.
Wow, thank you, Okay, thank you for the wonderful introduction. It's so nice to see so many of you tonight. Are you guys energized yet? Huh? Okay, come on. 2022 is coming up. You know what? I imagine there's going to be about half empty house because of this COVID and so many viruses. But tonight, I see a wonderful full house in this beautiful building with a lot of people who are actually coming in here and supporting the one and the only one, Senator Foung. Senator, where are you? If you could stand right there, wonderful friend of mine. I don't know about you, but I'm actually excited. Okay. Excited about 2022 and what's going to happen. We're going to take over the Senate. We want to make sure we do a lot, Build Back Better, all these. We want to make sure that DFL is actually taking over again. You know that politics is not an area of expertise of mine. Right? I've been involving with so much research, but I think it's very important to talk about politics and getting the right people out there so that we could actually get the resources for children and families. That's one of the reasons why when Senator Foung and my good friend Thomas Hurd came and asked me to come to speak, I said no hesitation, I will come in there and support the senator because this is very important. I don't know how much you know about the senator, and I don't know how much about the senator and me, because we actually went back a long way, right? Both Senator and I actually came to this country as the 1.5 generation, right? The sandwich generation. We came here as young refugees, depending on the public assistance with our parents. Many of us actually live in the public housing projects. The senator actually worked very hard, just like me, and like so many refugees, whether that's actually Hmong, Somali, Sudanese, or Karani, they actually came in here to make a better life for many of us. And Senator and I, again, belong to that generation. And we know each other very, very long time ago. Some of you back in when you were just baby. Back in 92, actually. So it was a long time ago. 92, because I have my first daughter is actually in 93, so I was still a young man. Back then, I know Senator Foung, but I don't think he knew me, right? Because he was always popular back then. You know why? Because he actually worked in this wonderful Hmong television program called Kickoff. I don't know how many of you actually remember Kickoff, but back then Kickoff was very popular. It's actually produced by our very own Senator Foung and Maltor and some other of our very foundational people in our community. And actually in the Hmong language, bringing in a lot of wonderful people to talk about Hmong programming and resources. And I always watched that program. I actually went in there for a couple interviews. Not with Senator Foung, but with Maltor. And this is very important. Right? So even though I didn't know him, I actually continued to follow Senator Foung's trajectory, how he actually evolved over time. The first, let me go back a little bit. So when I graduated with my PhD in 2000, I actually went to Ames, our state university, which I was the only Asian American family in Ames, okay? I have about 3 or 4 Chinese international students. My children, I really want to preserve the Hmong language and culture. And in 2002, I believe, and don't quote me on the year, but I believe it's about close to 2001, 2002, Senator Foung, back then we actually call him Foung. He actually, and his team actually produced this wonderful video called Hmongtopia. I don't know if you remember Hmongtopia. For some of you actually a little older like me and Senator Foung back in the 90s. Hmong was very important because back then our children were watching Bugs Bunny and Dora and all these shows, but there's none of the children's educational shows actually in Hmong. And I thought it was very seminal because it actually came out in Hmong language, having Hmong children's characters talking in Hmong, and our very own Neng Xiong was actually in it, and so it was very fundamental. I tell you this because actually one of the few purchased the video, and I still have the copy of the video at home, okay? So if you don't believe me, come and have dinner with me and I'll show you. But I still have the video, and one of the reasons was because I told my children, my 3 children, my oldest daughter, who was actually 6 at the time, Paja, my first son, about 5 at the time, and then my youngest daughter, 3. So it's really important for them to speak the Hmong language because I moved away so far from my parents. And so Hmongtopia became everyday language instruction for my children. And because of the Hmongtopia and because of Senator Foung's visions about cultural and language preservation, my 3 children are, and I'm proud to say, that they still understand and speak Hmong. Okay? Not a lot of young people nowadays could actually speak Hmong. I was very proud of my 3 children, but more importantly, proud of the senator for his vision. We know that by 3rd generation in America, 75% of our immigrant refugee population is going to lose the language. And the senator was really ahead of me. I thought I was a researcher in this field, right, family and children, but the senator was actually ahead of me and thinking about culture and language preservation back then in the 90s. By 2000, I came back to Minnesota. I was very inspired by his video. I actually got involved in the what they call the Ready for K, which is an organization established in Minnesota. I was able to involve in that and participate in some of the research on early childhood education, and partly because, again, Senator Foung was very fundamental, inspired me to do a lot of the work. Now, I still knew Senator indirectly. In 2015, I was the chair for the Hmong National Development, and in 2015, we had our Hmong National Development Conference in St. Paul, Minnesota here. And part of the conference, we also had a leadership symposium. And part of the leadership symposium was that we'll bring a lot of leaders, including Senator Foung, to come and talking about issues that Hmong, not only in Minnesota, but across the country, are concerned about. And at that year, that's why I actually met Senator Foung in person. He was a big senator now when I met him. And even though I actually the chair of Hmong National Development, I was really intimidated by the senator. This is a big senator. It was that meeting that I actually learned a lot about the senator that many of you have come to know about Senator Foung. And I don't know if you know a lot of these stories. I don't know if Senator actually can remember. But Senator Foung was one of those founders for the Hmong National Development. It's the only Hmong national organization in the country. And it's actually founded by this young man, Senator Foung. Yeah. I don't know about you, but you think about some of those very influential organizations in Minnesota. The Hmong Center for Art, what is a chat? So I'm trying to read a little bit. Oftentimes, you put an acronym in there, and then you try to read the whole things, and you tend to forget. But it's the Center for the Hmong Art and Talent, chat. It's very influential. A lot of our artists, actors and actresses now, both in Minnesota and then across the country, very fundamental, influential people. the product of Senator Foung. He was also one of the co-founders for that organization. If you actually associate with that organization, you know who is the co-founder. Today, we know it's the Senator. So thank you, Senator, for continuing to preserve our culture and language and art. That's very important organization that you actually found for our community. And of course, the Minnesota Hmong Chamber of Commerce. One of very influential organizations in Minnesota as well. We actually do a lot of education, outreach to people, giving people awareness about the microeconomic and a lot of economic activities in Minnesota. Now that organization is also co-founded by Senator Foung. And so if you look at Senator Foung, unlike a lot of politicians, when they actually run for office, they're looking for three things, right? Fame, power, money, or access to money. Well, our very own Senator Foung, he doesn't care about those three things. He actually cares about the people's needs. He looks for the people's needs and he goes after those needs. And he doesn't care about money, power, or fame. You know why I say that? Because if you go into YouTube, go into Facebook, and you look at a lot of the community events, whenever you see me, you see Senator Foung, right? Whenever you see Senator Foung, you see a lot of the community leaders. That is the senator that is always looking about people's needs, is always looking about what interests of the people and not of his own interest. And that's what I'm actually inspired by this senator. So, Senator, I don't have to say a lot about his record. Many of you actually know. You can go into Google, District 67, and you find Senator in there, and it will list all his assignments and his achievement in there. I'm going to say just a few from a Hmong community perspective. Without Senator Foung, we would not have the Hmong SGU Veteran Memorial at the state capitol. We will not. Look at states that do not have any representation. They don't have. And so again, we don't have Senator Foung, the little Tulu, the spin top place where older adults will actually go and play. Yes, very small achievement. 3 generations down the road, that would be an archival place for people to remember who were the Hmong people and who actually created that place. And it's the senators. Because of senators' representation and his voice, we were able to claim that space for our community. And that, to me, is very significant. All the science and technology center in Metro State are, again, very important, right? But the Hmong Village parking lot, some people would say, come on, it's just a parking lot. But you know what? It took a lot of negotiation and fighting in these committees to get that lot. And I know Senator actually fought so hard to get it. And so we want Senator to be reelected. We want a lot of people, DFL candidates, to be elected. Okay? We want to make sure we push for it. Because those small spaces that I just talked about, those small achievements that I just talked about, we need it. We need it to be a part of our community. Minnesotans understand the significance of our community of color, our Hmong American community, and how much we have contributed to our Minnesotan community, our economic development, our cultural enrichment. All these, again, partly because of people like Senator Foung that actually make a huge difference. I want to say just a few words before I conclude it. Currently, I want to tell you that Senator Foung serves as the ranking minority member of the Environment and Natural Resources Policy and Legacy Finance. Again, this keyword, ranking minority member of the Jobs and Economic Growth Finance and Policy, ranking minority member of the Veterans and Military Affairs Finance and Policy, which means that if everybody doing our job, getting our DFL out there, Senator Foung will be the majority leader in these committees. That will make a huge difference in our community. Okay. So folks, I heard people say, why supporting Senator Foung when you're not in his district? Because we get a lot of DFL candidates from my district, from your districts out there. We will make a difference. All these surpluses that would be so easier to negotiate. All the clan leaders, all the clan organizations, if you actually push people to vote for Senator Foung, for the DFL candidate, all this money is not going to go into someone else's bottom line. It's coming back into your bottom line. And that's why it's important to get Senator Foung and his colleagues into office. So, if you're with me, I am prepared to knock on people's door. I am prepared to do whatever necessary to help Senator Foung as an individual, not as a professor, not as an employee, but as an individual. Okay? I will drive from Egan to St. Paul and knock on people's door, telling Senator Foung's story, making sure that Senator Foung will be re-elected. Are you with me? Right. You're with me. Make sure we actually, again, rally our community, build a big coalition. Getting Senator Foung, getting candidates from our community, getting his friends, his colleagues. We want to make sure that this year, 2022, both the House and the Senate is going to be Democrat. We want to make sure Governor and still continue to be Democrat. We want to see something very important. Build back better. Gotta infuse right into Minnesota. There's no questions about it. I actually brought my youngest daughter here. My daughter said one day maybe I'll be somebody important, maybe the president. And I say, honey, tonight you're going to meet a very important man. He's sitting right next to you, Senator Foung. That's the future presidential candidate representing our community. That's the reason why we're doing this. We are doing this for future generation. We want to make sure we get the right people into office. We want to make sure we have all the necessary resources back into our community. We want to make sure our young people actually thrive. We want to make sure that Minnesota is the capital of the Hmong American. And Minnesota is the capital of the economic development. And when people talk about the best place to live, they think about Minnesota. When they think about the best place to eat, they think about Minnesota. And when they think about the best place to karaoke, because I have my friend Billy here, a few singers in here. Billy, can you stand up? Singer, entrepreneur. When they think about karaoke, Minnesota is the place, and Unison is the place right here. So I want to thank you for coming and supporting my friend Senator Foung and coming and supporting Unison. This is a wonderful event, and again, I'm actually energized for 2022, and I'm looking forward to working with every one of you to get this man back into office in 2022. So thank you. God bless everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for Dr. Xiong? I don't know about you. I'm starting to feel something in the room. I'm starting to feel some energy. I'm starting to feel some things that are going to motivate our community, because we have a lot of work to do. And it starts right here with Senator Foung. Quickly, before we introduce our next speaker, I'd like to introduce a few other delegates. I would like to introduce DFL State Treasurer Leah Midgarden. Can you wave? There she is. About a round of applause. Also, DFL AAPI Caucus Chair Alan Malexi. There you go. How about a round of applause? And again, I'd like to introduce DFL State Representative Peter Fisher. Peter Fisher, how about a round of applause? This has been a crazy couple of years. This has been some crazy times. You know, in our community, we put it on a winter count and we recognize all the strange things that's happened in the last 4 years. But you want to know what has buoyed me through pandemic and all kinds of other uncertainties was the leadership of Senator Foung. Senator Foung is a steady leader. But we're going to have our next speaker speak, a fighter, a warrior for the common people, a man who looks for justice everywhere, who is willing to go the extra mile for you, the extra mile for me. A leader who walks the talk. How about a round of applause for our Attorney General, Keith Ellison.
Let's hear it for Senator Foung, everybody! This is my friend Foung. Let me tell you this. Every person running for office, if you ever think about running for office, you need to take a look at what Senator Foung does. He is a people person. He makes a personal connection to everyone. Doesn't everybody in this room feel like they really, really know him and he's like their best buddy? And it's because he listens. It's because he listens. He opens up his ears and he cares what's going on with you, your family. He cares what's going on with you and your job. He cares about your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations, and he is a person who works together for the benefit of community. Senator I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of the work we've done together. I'm so proud. When I started as Attorney General, one of the first people I called and said, man, I'm not sure how to do this. I haven't done it before. Would you be on my transition committee? And right away, he set us down and he got us going in the right direction. When COVID hit, and everybody was so concerned and not knowing what to do. You remember about a year ago, we were all worried. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know what it all was going to mean. Foung was very front of the fight, helping to bring information to community. We went on a round of radio interviews where we talked about what was going on and what the restrictions meant and how to keep everybody safe. I'm telling you that I am a dedicated Foung supporter, and I hope you are too, because we got a lot of winning to do in just a few months. Foung everybody! Foung
My speaking part is earlier, but give it up one more time for our Attorney General Keith Ellison. He worked with me on anti-Asian hate. Make sure there's no price gouging right early on. I said, my community, the East Side, is struggling with price gouging. Let's stop it. So thank you, Keith. I just want to bring that up. Thank you.
Wow, I'm awake now. Well, you thought that we had Attorney General Keith Ellison. You're thinking, it can't get any better than that. And I'm going to tell you right now, we've got State Auditor Julie Blaha here. How about a round of applause? She brings it.
Oh my gosh, there is nothing better than having to follow Keith Ellison. Anyway, I'm Julie Blaha, I'm your state auditor. And I know you're thinking, wow, the state auditor, finally some glamour and some glitz coming into that. If we're lucky, maybe she'll go on to a long discussion of tax increment finance, and I'd like to, but you're my friends. And so I am so excited to be here for Foung. So we talk about all this stuff that people do. I get to look at the details. Since I oversee over $40 billion in local government spending, my job is to get down in the weeds and look at what they do. So you hear what the senator does on the big end, right? You'll hear about his large, huge work for equity and advancing his community, but I get to look at what he shares. I get to look at my favorite bills. And if you go look at his bills, this tells you everything about him. The East Side Freedom Library appropriation, a nonprofit infrastructure grant appropriation, Latino Economic Development Center appropriation, 30,000 feet grant appropriation. This is somebody, not only does a senator know how to give, he knows how to share. He knows that when he puts the power in your hands and people who are close to the situation, he knows that's when you get the best results. And so when people are voting for the senator, they're voting for you because they know that you will be the person solving it. When people vote for me, you might think, well, who didn't spend a whole bunch of time voting for Julie Blaha for state auditor? Okay, maybe this room. But honestly, people voted for me because they know that I'm with you. And they know that if I'm with you, that I care about education, and I care about the community, and I care about the environment. And that's why I'm here with the senator. Because honestly, when the senator does well, the whole ticket does well. So how many of you are going to be out here for the senator and pulling this all up? So on behalf of the rest of the ballot, your state auditor, your secretary of state, your governor, the work you do for him, you do for all of us, and I can't thank you enough. Let's hear it again for one of the best senators of all time, Senator Hawj. Thank you.
I told you, you thought I was kidding. What could be exciting about auditing? Well, now you know. So I'd like to call all state senators that are present, if you guys could come on up so we can introduce you. We'd like to introduce Senator Nick Xiong. Round of applause. Senator Aaron Murphy. How about a round of applause? Senator Mary Kunish isn't here tonight, but how about a round of applause? And also, I want to introduce Senator Foung. That's your leadership team. That's your Senate leadership team. He's not, yeah, there he is. How about a round of applause? And just like you heard a little bit earlier from Dr. Xiong, why it's so important that we work. Because this Senate minority team, if we do our jobs, becomes a Senate majority team. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to turn it over to... I'd also like to add Senator Jim Carson. There you are. There you are. So with that, I'd like to introduce Senator Nick Xiong to say a few words. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's okay.
Well, hello everybody, and thank you very much for coming. My name is Nick Xiong. I live in North Mankato, and I am the president of the Senate Foung fan club. I'd also like to introduce Senator Ann Johnson Stewart and Senator Steve Swazinski. We are all very proud to serve with Foung. I also want to tell you some things about Foung that I hope you have heard, but if not, I think you'll be proud. Senator He is kind, he's smart, he's generous. But one of the characteristics that has drawn me to him is the word honor. And my favorite story as a senator, of all the things we've done, was done by Senator Foung on the floor of the Minnesota Senate. Some of you may know this story, but for my wife and I, it says why it is something to be proud of to serve in the Senate with Senator He. Many of you are familiar with the Special Guerrilla Unit Amendment that Senator He brought to honor those that served. And he had brought it 2 other times on the floor of the Senate to try to get those Foung family members the honor, the justice, and the recognition that they wanted. He brought it again. I sit in the front row, and from behind me I started to hear objection, suggestions that we delay it, thoughts that it wasn't appropriate. Understand, we have done the same thing for many groups before, each of them deserving of this type of honor. And it was getting a little tense. Foung is about 20 feet away from me. I know he's smiling under that mask because he knows, and you probably do too, where this is going. And a senator from behind me, who shall remain nameless, stood up and said, you know what, if we could just pull this amendment, well then maybe we could talk about it over the summer and see if we can work something out. Like there would be something you could work out. Like honor is something you could compromise on. And there was a quiet. And I looked over, and Senator Hur said, in the way he does on the floor, which is very respectful, very straightforward, very purposeful. He said, I appreciate the comments my fellow senators have made today on the floor of the Minnesota Senate. And I've heard the suggestion that I postpone the special guerrilla unit amendment. But I have brought it 2 other times. This is my 3rd time. And if it does not pass today, I will never bring it again. And then there was a pause and a quiet on the floor. And that amendment was passed, as many of you know, within 15 minutes. That is Senator Foung. That's the leadership that you're getting with Senator Hur. We are all very proud to serve with him. And I want to say on behalf of everybody in the DFL Senate, we are extremely proud to stand alongside you. You are someone that we want to know better. And if you ever get down to North Mankato, please look me up. And that includes my friend Thomas Hur, which is a different speech. Thank you. With that, I'd like to introduce Senator Aaron Murphy of St. Paul.
Thank you, Nick friends. My goodness, Chuck Uyghur's in the house. Senator Chuck Uyghur has just arrived. Senator Chuck Uyghur had a little accident. I think he's got a lot of stitches in his elbow. We're really happy to see you. I also saw Representative Dave Pinto. He's right over there. I don't think we introduced him yet. Hey, Dave Pinto. He represents a part of St. Paul just like I do. That's right. My name is Erin Murphy. I am a registered nurse. I'm a state senator, and I am honored to be here with you tonight. One of the things I've liked the least about the pandemic, and really, is there anything that we like about the pandemic? I don't think so. But one of the things that I have liked the least is the loneliness of being apart. And it is so lovely to be with you tonight, to be in a room to celebrate, to break bread together, and to talk about the future that we're going to build together as we support Senator Foung in his re-election and do the work of building Minnesota's future together. I grew up in a family that taught me that politics is important. I still believe that. And in fact, in the many years that I have served, first in the Minnesota House and now in the Minnesota Senate, and working with people across the state of Minnesota over and over and over again, Minnesotans have shown me that they care deeply about our community, they care deeply about our state, they care deeply for our neighbors, for our friends, for one another. That, for me, is the heart of the kind of politics that I believe in. I believe in a kind of politics that improves people's lives. And when we don't use it for that purpose, but instead to hurt people or put them down, we're going in the wrong direction. And I ran for the Minnesota Senate because I know that when we lead with hope, when we talk about a vision for a future that includes all of us, we build a politics that supports all of us, and we build a future that includes all of us. And that's what I want to do with you. That's why I'm so glad to be with you tonight. That's why I'm so excited that you built this giant crowd tonight, Senator Foung. Senator Foung is my new colleague, but I knew him before I came to the Senate. You've heard people tonight talk about his leadership. I want to talk about the person, Foung. You trust Foung. His word is like gold. He leads with honor, and he's deeply committed to the people he represents. I remember in a meeting not too long ago, he asked me and a number of other people in the Senate, what do I have to do to make sure that I get reelected? And he had spent the morning already talking about everything he had been doing to connect with, to stay in community with, to reach out and build the various voices that are in Senate District 67. He's committed to the people. And I will always support an elected official or a candidate who is committed first to the people before themselves, and who will pour themselves into the work of building us all up. Minnesota's future is bright, and it's beautiful, and it includes all of us. And I know the powerful contribution you are making to the community and to our future. I'm grateful for that. And with that, it is my distinct honor to introduce to you the person that you are here for tonight, the person that we are here for tonight, the person that we're going to work together to get elected again to the Minnesota Senate, Senator Foung.
Thank you for the introduction. Senator Aaron Murphy is actually our DFL caucus campaign chair. And it's an honor to have all my senators here, including, one of our assistant leader. I'll talk a little bit more about being assistant leader in my speech. But when we were announcing this kickoff, we told people, oh, why don't you just stay here? Just stay here. It's a good photo op. I was just about to tell you this, but it almost hit the spot too. We have to tell people not to come if they don't feel well. So, I'm glad that they didn't come, but thank you for those who have their mind and heart set to come to this event, but they decide to stay home because they're not feeling well. And we are very mindful, keeping room capacity. This room fills 700 people, but we reduced to 288 people only. But I'm glad that looking at all of you meant so much to me. It gave me a wonderful feeling to see each and every one of you again. And I even see my friend from Duck Unlimited too. I know that my culture really love hunting. I want to acknowledge Duck Unlimited. So the main purpose for this kickoff event is for us to rally supporters like yourself, to reassemble and to fundraise for our 2022 re-election campaign. And your presence here tonight means a lot to me. I cannot be more proud to represent you and the East Side St. Paul as your state senators. I am honored. During the past year and a half, our daily life has changed. It has been more challenging, especially for the seniors and our low-income families. I'm sure you know that my DFL colleague and I have been working very hard for you to bring resources to families and businesses with an emphasis toward micro businesses, child care, public school funding, shelter for the homeless and veterans, and relief for our culture mall, like the Smiley Mall, Century Plaza, Hmong Town, and Hmong Village. As the only Minnesota State Senator of Hmong descent, I have been vocal as your official voice for the anti-Asian hate and pushing for policy to increase penalty on crime motivated by bias. And while I hope that the momentum joining me will be stronger next year, because I'm hoping, I see Councilwoman Susan Pa is here tonight too. She will be speaking a little later in support of me. But I'm hoping that next year we will also elect Councilwoman Susan Pa and Representative Neng Xiong to the state senate. Councilwoman, you here? I saw her husband. Yep. As we build back better, there will be more positive news up ahead of us. In this coming 2022 legislative session, my colleagues and I will be making decisions on how to best use the $6.5 billion of infrastructure funding that you probably seen on the news or national news when Joe Biden came to promote here in Minnesota a few weeks ago. And there is more good news. as Minnesota is projecting a state surplus of $7.7 billion. That's a lot of money, and we make history with that mark. Now we have more resources and opportunity to make it right. To make it right. To make it right by properly rewarding our essential workers who have been on the front line protecting all of us. And to make it right by creating more jobs, creating business opportunities, investing in community on public safety, and fulfilling our promise for better funding to our education. And to make it right, we need to change the paradigm of racial inequity. This is the time. This is the time and now to empower our BIPOC and New American communities with our state investment dollars. And to make it right, we must pay back the debt that incurred through our unemployment insurance during the pandemic. As one of the Senate champions on equity and equitable policy, my mission is unity, equity, and progress. I need all of us to unite so that we can fight for equity in order for us to progress. And I will not back down. I will not back down, as I always will fight for what we deserve. What we deserve, especially during this tough time. In 2012, I was a freshman senator, and today I am a member of DFL Senate leadership. More responsibility now, but now you have a better of me, because I am now with more experience, wiser, and more savvy in form of developing policy. And I will promise to bring you along with me on this journey. Better days await us in 2022 and in my next term as well, where we, the DFLers, will champion public education, affordable health care, accountable public safety, housing development, business opportunity, as well as the arts and environment. We will push, listen well, we will push for legalized cannabis, sporting, gambling, and driver license for all. But we have to get one thing done first. One thing done first is to help me and my Senate DFL to win the majority in November. Can you do that? And can we do that? Can we do that? All right. I am an assistant minority leader now, and I want to be an assistant majority leader in 2023. I am the lead Democrat, as Dr. Xiong said earlier, now in the Environment and Legacy Committee. But I want to be the chair of the Legacy Committee so I can oversee funding for the arts and culture. So please help me, please help my DFL Senate. Please help me and put the gavel in my hand as the chair of the Legacy Committee, will you? So that means those who live in my district vote for me, but those who live outside my district vote for a DFL candidate, Democrat, former Labor candidates, so we can win the majority. So I look forward to your support at the caucus, at the endorsement convention, and I will be honored to get your vote when it comes to November of 2022. Thank you all, and God bless you. 4 more years, and Lao Xiongzi. My cultural language, native language, is in danger of being extinct, similar to Lakota, Ojibwe, many native language. So I want to spend this time to say a few words in my language. My generation, yes, majority of Hmong in here understand what I'm saying Hmong, but the next generation may not. Perhaps my colleague, as we move to next legislation, we will put a legislation to preserve the endangered culture that we have, that confronted us. So I'm gonna transition to my Hmong language. And nhớ rong sụt lời cái chồng mong sụt lời của mẹ tô, của trong sáng trong lời của bố mẹ, chỉ làm một cha ha bù chính công, anh thọ hợp dụng, bây giờ chơi trò trong này tu, thọ hợp dụng đầu tới giang đầu, cái tô công cụ, cái giờ bên này bên gì, thọ cái nó cái như rong một chút sáng thế, thọ hợp dụng chính là sai nụ ha mấy giờ bố tu trò. Cái là bằng này. Còn mà nào bằng yên đào từ tu giờ gió đào từ tu vàng của chị gió chỉ cho sau của thọ hợp của mẹ vì mẹ cho áo biết tổ cho lúc đến lúc chờ nó giờ chỉ cho căng hú bây giờ vàng mẹ lúc lăng lúc rụ kiến trợ kiến chế vì mình trao sát gần đau họ qua chỉ cho xong nó học của nhà tao chỉ cho xong là áo lúc thao luôn không để ô cho cho cái tổ cha sát cho tận đây ai cũng biết xong nên có cũng giờ ít từ senator sư ta chỉ nuno cũng băng thông gì thì nó mới cũng sai có tụ bắt than có tụ cho để băng TFL Senate ai cũng lời bộ tăng đó là rằng ha cũng là assistant minority leader这是cũng chờ chỉ sáng cũng chỉ一sáng我是cũng chờ của chỉ là assistant minority leader hay là assistant majority leader ai bây giờ là trong mấy sáng tạo nên chỉ là bây giờ tổ trao là để dùng những trang từ thọ tổ trao vậy về cuộc sáng tạo của nhà mình nhá lấy nhau sẽ cho nhau hùng nó district cho sang mấy tận tôi vô trong cuối thì cho nhau sang trao sau khi phát hiện bảo cho Democrat这边只有嘅就好要被定就中了等到tổ trao的有用意就上局面唱但是一考有教上面几嘛，给他对后里有伢做还牛做不了，对，我有到山区自己出没从那是多，但是他后面没给到刀，哎，关键他们个有没给到刀都一样，这个但是个他下的，我要去拿干咩来战绩，哎，我要去装咩这，我要去补，被搞米都没用，给个到帮干。他古有几部给我做没叫那个路，只下多仓 insurance， 只跟到叫制度这叫路，叫公户。哎呀，但咩冇给动作好的，咩以为好股，股马人查给话咩路车做出来我都能公报。哎，我撞到被多给多做嘛咯。ai ôn thọ hàng lưu cho cứ tàu băng nha cho cũ là chỉ có băng tận đây nó thọ của mấy chỗ môn tàu bông họ cho cứ từ vô cho cũ là chỉ có vô tận đây hai cho cứ vô nó đây là cả nó thọ của mỗi nước từ mấy cho mình nhỏ lúc bây giờ thời cho hắn muốn nào chứ hao trong đâu cho cái volunteer vì mỗi mấy bây giờ ở tàu lu công trình sĩ sau này nó bây giờ vàng mấy lúc rồi thọ của mấy cho cứ cho là có trong tông tàu chỉ chỉnh lúc tại của mấy cứ cho của mấy tông tàu của sao tàu mấy lúc rồi bán của họ campaign hàng của mình chơiอย่างtừ là tàuอย่างđó của trong tàu cho những nạn chế cho tung luôn chạy lò ít cho của chiến hình ít cho chỉ là khô tận rồi tôi là địa bàn tính trong thì nó ở trong tàu của chơi lưu rồi nó cứ thọ của mình xong rồi tụi nó cá nhân rồi ha chỉ sau một cái móc kinh thọ cho nhiều sau phòng công bóng cho mấy ha dạng của mình trình sang tại mình luôn này ở trong tàu. Thank you all. Thank you. 4 more years. 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 4 more years.
Many more years. Well, thank you. One more big applause to the state of Minnesota DFL Senate Leadership Group. They come with big responsibility. Our next speaker will be State Representative Peter Fisher and State Representative Dave Pinto. Right here.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Senator Foung, for the opportunity to be up here to support you. I will say that we've heard a lot of great things about the senator tonight, and I want to tell you that I have been very touched by the way that he reaches out to everybody in the community. We've heard that throughout the evening, and I want to say I experienced that very early on when I was elected in 2012. Is that Senator Foung had reached out, and he takes a look at the fact that even though I'm not in St. Paul, I represent big parts of Maplewood here, White Bear, and Washington County. He was reaching out on different issues that affected our area because we are all one community, and when we work together, we get things done, which is a DFL prophecy. We all do better when we all do better, and Senator Foung lives that to this day, and I want to say thank you. And I want to say also, I am extremely impressed with his patience because he deals with the Senate. He deals with the Republican senators on environment. And I serve on the Environment Committee in the House. And this past year, I had the ability to start helping negotiate the final bill between the House and the Senate. And I got to tell you, Senator Herr, I don't know how you can keep your patience with them because after only 30 minutes, I was ready to blow my top because all the Republican senators know how to say is no, 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 and create falsehoods out there. And a perfect example.
This is how Representative Fisher lost his hair. Actually, is in those negotiations.
That's exactly. I pulled my hair out. You know, and the things that they opposed are common things that we all need. Example is when you take a look at our cars out there, getting more electric vehicles out on the road, helping make our environment better in that regard. This is something that will help save our state money, will help save our citizens money, will also make the environment cleaner. And at the same time, the Republicans said no, 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 and put out information that wasn't accurate. More importantly, things that Senator Foung is standing up for is making sure we've got a better environment, particularly clean water. And this is something that's real dear to my heart with White Bear Lake up to the north of us. We've got all sorts of problems of having water sustainability, and Senator Foung has been a big champion of making sure that we're protecting our waters and we're using them in a sustainable way for going in the future. And I want to say thank you, Senator Foung, for doing that. And it's really important we come around to not only get Senator Foung elected, but we come back with the DFL Senate, because if we don't, we're going to be in the same situation we are now. We're not going to be able to have a situation where we can make sure that we're protecting our waters throughout the entire state. We know we've got issues out there if we don't, long-term issues. And I know that if we get a DFL Senate, we're going to have Senator Foung leading the way in the Senate and working with us in the House so that we can make the state a better place. And so I want to say thank you for your efforts. I'm going to turn it over for a few comments from my colleague here, Representative Dave Pinto.
So Representative Fisher's not the only person who lost his hair negotiating with the Republican Senate. I did too, and Senator Foung did as well. So I am the, Senator Foung and I are the co-chairs of the St. Paul delegation to the Capitol. So we work with the other St. Paul legislators, and those of you who live in St. Paul should know that we are working really closely to make sure that we're representing our city well at the state capitol, and that we're making sure that we're achieving the best results we can for our citizens. And I'm so glad, and our residents, so glad that we're having the chance to work together on that. I hope it's clear to all of us how important it is that we have every single person in our community involved in our democracy. There's a lot at stake this year in our state and in our country and on our planet. And this is something that Senator Herr is so much driving towards. He embodies this. If we just look around this room, we look around the work that he's doing, everything that he does is about making sure that ordinary people are represented in our political process and that we all get involved. So he and I, a couple of years ago, founded an advocacy fair to say that there are organizations that are doing advocacy work and we need people involved in that as well. This is something that he is continuing to work on day after day after day, and representing you and representing all of us. So I'm so proud to have him as a partner in the Senate. We're going to do our best to keep our hair by having him and his DFL colleagues get elected the majority in the Senate, keep the majority in the House, and Governor Walz and our great statewide elected officials to have progress for our state. Thank you so much, Senator Foung. Thank you to all of you. Take care.
Thank you. Please welcome City Council of Brooklyn Park, Susan Kayeng Pa, on stage. And just before I leave this mic for her, let's also know that she is running for a Senate seat in Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center, so she could be our next.
Thank you for that introduction. Neng Xiong, Neng Xiong, I'm honored to be here tonight in support of my good friend and mentor, Senator Foung, an amazing human being, passionate advocate, and as we all know, an incredibly engaged legislator. Can we give this amazing man a round of applause? Well, I know that there are many of us at the local level, the county level, and our school board that work with Senator Herr all the time on issues that affect our community. And I have always found that every time I pick up the phone and give Senator Herr a call and say, hey, I've got this issue going on right now. What do you think? And I always get someone who's willing to listen on the other end, and I always get great advice. Senator Herr has been an amazing mentor of mine for many, many years. And I've always enjoyed working with him because what makes a really great representative, a great senator, is someone who listens to the people, who tries to understand all the different perspectives, all the different experiences that people go through. And as someone who really cares about people and are passionate. And that's one of the reasons why I so admire Senator Herr and why I support him. And I think he is a fantastic senator. And I'm glad that he has not decided to retire and will continue 4 more years. Hooray, to 4 more years. Before I leave the stage today, I just want to acknowledge as well Senator Herr's wife, who has been such a good friend, not only to myself, but to so many of us, and such a great supporter of Senator Herr. Could you please stand up? This amazing woman right here. As we all know, we cannot do this public service work without our partner, our strong partner who is a backbone, who is the one who keeps everything at home working so that we can continue to do the work that we do in our community. Senator Herr's got his wife, who is his #1 fan, strongest supporter. And I'm proud to have my #1 fan and strongest supporter here with me as well, my husband Nicholas. Could you stand, honey? He doesn't like attention, but I'm going to put attention on him tonight. And I say that because, as Senator Hur and some have said, I am running for state senate in 2022. Our state senator, Chris Eaton, is retiring, and she and I have worked together for many years on many policies together. And when she decided to retire, she said, Susan, I cannot think of a single person better to take on this seat than you. Will you run? And I said, yes, I will, because I know we can do more for the people of Minnesota if we step up and be the change we want to see. So I'm proud to say I will be running for the state senate in 2022, and I am hoping that all of you will support me the way you have supported Senator Hur, because I know he has been a huge mentor and a supporter of mine, and one of the very first people to say, you need to run. So thank you, Senator Hur. And thank you all tonight.
Now, I don't mean to lead any of you on, but every time I come up here, I seem to say something like, are you ready for the next great announcement? Well, the next great announcement is the food's about to come out. So raise your hand if you're hungry. I know I'm getting hungry. So, for those of you who have a yellow card, if you're eating vegetarian, vegan, just hold that up, and they're going to come by, and they're going to serve you. And no, bacon is not a vegetable. So make sure you don't have any confusion with your servers. And so while they're bringing the food out, we're going to have some community come up and talk. And so if you sit tight, they're going to bring the food out to you. But again, if you have a vegetarian dish, hold up your yellow card.
Okay, chào chúng nè. Do mọi người serve lò thì chỉ lấy dùng là trong đời đi lúc trong. Giờ hãy tiến lên từ cũng chẳng đâu thì phải không mà bây giờ sản năng hay như là dân ai bỏ cái thì là sao phải chỉ nói sáu nè. So giờ tiến lên từ nói sáu là chỉ cha đi để coi nó thống ninh ca lò này đi tới để coi xịt đất ra. Họ đua đi chọn tới chị giờ cái thế nào. I don't know what kind of meat we're gonna have. If you're very lucky, it might be buffalo. I don't know. But we imported long from where? Wyoming? Yes, Wyoming. Wyoming, Unison.
You know, I have a young man sitting over there. Stand up, Ruben Kiddo, is he still there? Chaske, stand up. So Erica was asking me, how did this little guy get so tall? I said, we use buffalo milk in our cereal. A lot of people don't know that.
I bought it.
Also, I had to let you know, if you want a vegetarian dish and you do not have a yellow card, if you raise your hand, they have extra dishes for you.
Okay. Lúc xưa hàng thấu đi chừng tòn rau mỏ lọt cho đi nè là tiếp đi ông ấy cho communities lò thả cho senator Foung cho cái rong cho cái ba bên hải mông chỉ hải mông thế này có hải mông nào mà giờ sự làm mấy bị sẵn mà mông là lúc thứ hai giờ mông nào thì chỉ dùng mông thế nào thì chỉ giờ mông nào mà tàu bài đi nữa you can be any colors, okay? Okay, the coming up speaker is Vanessa Robinson, Ian Onum, Maggie Lawrence, and Captain Sailu Singvan. Please come up to the stage.
Thank you. So happy to be here, right? Thank you, Senator Hur, first and foremost, and thank you everyone who paved the way before I had my little 2 cents to ask. Not nearly as eloquent as others, but we're here to do a job right, and that's bringing some dollars for Senator Hur, right? Right? Okay, that's all I'm here to do right now. So, I just want to give a bit of background. You know how it's difficult for BIPOC youth to create careers
because of Senator Her, right? We're able to tap into over 100 young people this summer, post-COVID, right? And that is some great news and great work that we're able to do because of his support. I don't have much else to say because I know food's coming. And again, I'm not very eloquent. So I'm gonna pass it over to Maggie, a longtime friend of mine. It's your turn next, girl.
Well, good evening. My name is Maggie Lorenz. I'm the executive director for a local Eastside nonprofit called Lower Phelan Creek Project, and we are a Native American-led environmental conservation organization that has been incredibly successful over the last few years, in no small part due to the support of our Senator Foung. One of our big projects that we're working on right now is the development of a cultural and environmental interpretive center at Bruce Vento Nature Sanctuary, which is a really important cultural site for Dakota people, who are the indigenous peoples here in Minnesota. And so it was amazing for me. I know Senator Her prior to starting to work on this project, and through our work together to get some bonding dollars for the East Side and the East Side community and our project specifically, I have found not only a champion for all of our work on the East Side, all of our communities on the East Side, but somebody who is a truly genuine and authentic human being that I am so honored to know. It's been a blessing for me to be able to work with Senator Her, and it was really doubly special because it was a collective of Black, Indigenous, and people of color who came together in the 2020 bonding session. One of the most difficult bonding sessions I think anybody can remember due to the pandemic. And my good friend here, Vanessa Young, we were student leaders together at Metropolitan State University, so we have a long history on the East Side, and just being able to come up together and being able to lead work in the community and being able to partner with Senator Her to do that has been just so amazing. And so I just wanted to share that story with you all. Listening to all of the stories people have shared tonight have been just really resonated with me. This is somebody that I have felt a beautiful connection with as a fellow person of color, a fellow Indigenous person, and that personality has radiated throughout everybody that Senator Her works with. And I was just watching the photos, kind of scrolling the slideshow, and it's just incredible how Senator Her shows up for everybody. He shows up for everybody, and he's like your best friend. And I know how busy he is, but he still makes time for the community, and that's why I will support Senator Her. I will do everything I can to make sure he gets reelected.
Okay, đây thầu bây giờ cho tôi nó chắc là hay luôn á, là chị bây giờ sáng thầu nè là cứ rất lâu, trong trời tông cú là cho bây giờ thiên nó cho là là hay luôn mi chỉ vậy, ni nó mỏ thì ni thiên liêm nông tôi cần đầu là đấy thế, tôi xin đấy, thắt chặt.
Hôm mình cả thế mà bông thì để của ai hắn là lù mong một tay chân một tay chấp là một chỗ đó cho sẵn là phụng hơi thế cho khán giả của mình có chơi bây giờ tôi hắn là thì ở đâu cứ tham gia sơ hạt địa có cũng là thảo văn chữ là cho cho nó văn chữ những việc mua văn chữ thì mua bây giờ là tuần luôn là ai có bây giờ mình làm mỏ giờ những việc mua bé tụt chữ thì mình để cho cái mà thì mua bé là nhà đông tiền tệ nó để bé hóa chỉ là bé cho trong hai địa mua tụt chữ mua bé này bé gì thì mua bé ai我台湾去这边不那么呢，那么这个还录的话，可以梦想这样出口进来听出来。Okay, okay, let's pray. We gotta go eat first, and then we'll continue our program. Okay, thanks. ไป lần gì và chỉ tu thế lần tu vào Giêsu mà nó bây giờ cái mình cái mình nhọ bây thầu cả trâu những việc một cả lu bây tiền lần điện tê cái thế trâu cả tu là tuaซึ่งbây giờ có gì để thu giờ nó có bây giờ nó bây trong mỏ nó bây thầu cả phòng hú rồi cho cho mỏ nó có nó một xe một ra xí lu xí ba thiết cả bây một dòng mông bây tụi sinh là từ phòng hơn là bây tụi tu là tụi gì là tụi cứ nhớ trong mù với tụi thời cho bây hãy nên một lần lâu chúng ta thằng tây nó em bớt trái ya có phòng muốn nó bây chỉ để cá mỏ kinh ya bây giờ trong tờ hoặc者cho mỏ nó mù nữa em bây nó có một số một giờ chỉ cho trong phòng cho bây nó pro nó ta chế sẽ được pro cho bây cái nó là thằng tây có sẽ được chỉ cho trong ít bớt trái ya bây mà bây trên chúng tây plei tây ya bây ya chúng chế bắt chế có phòng muốn ya bây ya chúng bắt chế nữa ya chúng có một đó cho bây chế này nó bây giờ mình mình nhọ ấy có lâu chúng ta tên nó bây giờ các tổ sản là phòng hơn cho nó bây thời cho là bây giờ nó tổ chức ấy bữa trái dàn bây giờ mong cho nó cả tổ chức thế bây giờ chúng ta chúng tôi thấy mà siêu lúc bây giờ ở miền ok thìว่าtrả lời của ta không có trả lời đóว่าchỉ khả năng các bạn cảm thấy là vậy.
Next, we'd like to introduce Ian Owen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Are you fired up? I said, are you fired up? Are you fired up? How can you not be fired up when you have a senator like Senator Foung? My name is Ian Oundo. I am the current president of the Association of Minnesota, the Uganda Association of Minnesota, which is an organization that brings Ugandans together here in Minnesota. I am also a current commissioner in the city of Coon Rapids. And I think those two things are super important for us to remember tonight. As a person of color, standing right here in front of you, supporting another person of color, that is a proud moment for me, and I just want us to remember that, and I want us to clap for that. What an honor and privilege it is for me to be here with all of you this evening. Friends, and I know that a lot has been said about this gentleman, this senator tonight, and a lot of those things are true and real, and a lot of us have lived those truths about this man today. So I'm not gonna say a lot of those things, but for a lot of years now, I've had the opportunity to work with Senator Foung, fighting for so many different issues, whether it's driver's license, we've been there. But I've also watched Senator Foung work tirelessly for everybody to make sure that everybody's taken care of. Thank you so much for that, Senator Foung. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Foung is a leader who he's always asking one fundamental question. And I think a lot of us might not really think about this, but it is a fundamental question. What can I do to make your life a little bit better? It's a simple but very fundamental question, a question that should lead any leader and the work that they do every single morning that they wake up. How can I make your life a little bit better? One of the things that I really appreciate about you, Senator Foung, is your deep connection and understanding of our intricate, multicultural, and diverse community. That, Senator Foung, has made you a fierce advocate, not just for your constituents, but for Minnesotans as a whole. And I think all of us should be proud of that and what Senator Foung does. He does not just fight for his constituents, he fights for every single Minnesotan. Thank you so much for that, Senator Foung. I had to make sure I got this right. Ladies and gentlemen, not only should we help re-elect Senator Foung, we must join forces. I repeat, we must join forces to help re-elect so many other leaders, a lot of them who are here tonight, who make sure every day they fight, not only for their lives, but for every Minnesotan. And we must make sure that we get all of them re-elected and some of them elected into office come 2022. We must do that. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you guys, but I am fired up. Are you fired up? I said, are you fired up? Are you fired up? We must make sure that we knock every single door, every person that you can get to in not only your district, Senator Foung, but we have a lot of work to do throughout the state of Minnesota, and I am going to make sure that not only do I make you and make sure that you get re-elected, Senator Foung, we're going to make sure that people like Susan Parr, a lot of Susan Parrs are going to be running for office throughout the state of Minnesota. Ladies and gentlemen, we must make sure that all of them are elected into office. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Thank you.
Hello? Asia, mua gamma je, udah shock. One day punya halu utah beja tuja, ejiu, lasona, sili kumda, bayang dari ta bayang, dia kumda balang, dia wanitaประธาน ejiu, dia betul lekha do the puang ka kalau dia. Soalnya tu jauh dia ni nyata ni lah dia pun jauh sudah ni bela ni lah dia. Ya tu jauh. Jadi ya tu jauh ejiu lah dia sih. Kemudian aja. Okay, boleh nana be macam tu lah, be lawan nana. Hôm nay là他和 Senator Foung 贴着那家就我做着好路中sai那sai chữ đó nó ở chỗ này cho gì我还那chỗ này说的cô thọ của này za cái车打za cái машина汽车十八bên mong tua đầu cha bên chỗ chỉ phá tù nè phân ba bỏ hai tiền bây giờ chủ ba America tuần thì cháu tôi giờ tao muốn nhớ sổ đã vào chữ giờ tao nhớ sổ tôi chơi trên giờ chúa bây giờ tôi chỉ tôi bây giờ tao muốn nhớ tới chém này cả tới chém Hoa Kỳ Australia lửa lúc tới chém còn tới giờ bây giờ cái máu xía thì thái lúc tới chém tuần thì nó là cháu tôi là tao nhớ sổ tôi chơi trên chúa bây giờ chỉ tao tôi bây giờ kia bây tôi nhớ tới chém này cả tới chém Hoa Kỳ Australia theo lửa lúc tới chém còn nó giờ cái gì chỉ xuyên được nên phân ba bỏ贴着都找。我还能拿着你说的叫面着子，你老到哪里啊？老到那里了加倍。nó là giờ inu rong chạy rong nhau ở bây là sai cả tàu sẽ đến tập phòng. Bây giờ bây tụi tôi mong lão nào lo xong rồi nhà tận đây. Của hai linh là bây giờ đã giờ giờ lần tư là sẽ phải giờ ít tụi tôi mong là sợ lọ bây giờ chuột sơ giờ chuột cả nó muốn yên giờ sẽ đến tập phòng yên bên mong thông can tôi yên giờ sẽ đến tập phòng sư bên mong thông can tôi sư nè chụp bao này giờ sẽ đến tập phòng nếu mua yên rồi làm gì thì bây giờ tôi luận giải luận trong lần đó tụ hoặc là sĩ tụ nào giờ cho nó bên ba cho nó yên chỉ bên mong luôn bên giờ nhau được căn cứ tiền nào một chỉ ta thế chỉ cần cụ thọ cả bên sẽ để cho tôi là bên mỗi cái công ty chăm yêu à của hai lên là rồi nè bây giờ cái ship ba giờ cái bạn mình giờ cái con gì lưu rõ lo nó nọ của hai lên là rồi nè sẽ là Senator Foung nếu bên mong thì tôi chỉ tao kia cả tao ý à Senator Foung có tao rồi tao trả bây giờ họ ý gì thầu của lo của lúc của họ của tôi cho nữa của tao bây giờ tao tụ bây thua nhau thì sẽ khai bị tao đi nào lão ở mong tụ tôi bên mong luôn về cháu lo tôi là tuần chụp lì nhau thì một chuyện nhau bây giờ chỉ tao lo tôi chỉ nhau họ nó tên mình tung nhiều nào nên mình chỉ chùa dễ phải chờ một tao một thủ đi ra đi nào em buổi thao hay rồi nè bây chỉ là những gì tôi đầu tiên chuyện nào nằm mà họ thì Senator Foung cho nhau hậu xin này là ship ba của tôi ý đây biểu ba thơ được bên chỉ nằm mong có tao lúc chỉ thì có bao cho là bên mong nông tại bên mong lưu hậu đi đây này nè ni chỉ mua cả là như tao không thể nào là do thể theo chỉ thể là chỉ phải trả thế nông tại nếu mà chạy sao chỉ thì có bao số lối chồng của hai là đến khi nhau đầu tại school do từ bên mong đi căn cứ nhau đầu nông tại giờ phong đầu nó từ là 17 chỉ ta lên là chẳng qua tao lúc chẳng tao tôi lu tôi mong liền căn cứ chơi đây họ lừa sẽ tới phòng quan nó dùng qua cho bé trộm mong là tên hàng mới cả sẽ được tao khởi bé tên căn cứ đấy bé là yêu mua xin gì là thì tiền em buổi tối hai đêm rồi bé trộm mong sẽ được cả bây giờ chủ ba sau cả tao sẽ tới phòng nhau lo hiểu tao tên nào thế của bé mình chỉ nên là cho nên thọ bé ô tô bé thọ tiền nào mua cha bây giờ giờ ít tu ô tô trò này giờ tu chém mẹ bây giờ theo ở tàu thì thế nhà này bắt thang còn họ ô tô trò cái gì giờ tu bắt thang tu luôn và nhà nào còn họ ô tô trò xí lúc xí hà lo xong bây giờ là bắt tàu tu bây giờ tiền nào nhà này công đà và dân này tôi để tới nhà họ làm phim này tôi bây giờ tới xong nhà lọt đây này sai nhà họ nhà cái hồng nhà cho lúc xí hà một thế là giờ công đà và dân nhà tôi sai bây giờ tôi nhà họ chạy thì giờ mua sự nhà này công đà và lên nếu giờ tôi hô nhớ họ cho về chỉ cho ai giờ tôi biết cho vòng được tích chậm lại giờ anh này là còn làm ăn lại cho nó liền cho phê của nhau lúc xí họ sẽ biết cho nên bỏ lùi mấy cái chơi cơ ngầu đi nè bố hai anh tôi này thì cho nhau thì nó có lẽ mua gì mình đi cho về cho mua sữa để đi xí bố rong xe đeo ở cho cả về mong chơi xí lúc mua ít họ thì là về sữa để tua mà khó cơ nó cho nên là công đã hơi chạy công đã hơi chạy giờ thơ tu hoặc là sai nhá học nhau luôn chân thọ bên lúc chạy nhau lúc chân của chỉ tao tiền này bộ thằng đó là giờ cho chọc lâu giờ công đã giờ cho chọc lâu bộ thằng đó là mà bố hai lẽ nào kia đấy nè bây giờ bố tôi cho mà cho lần đầu tụ và chẳng mà cho xin nhau nào chỉ đi giờ mở rộng ra mà bố hai lẽ nào khó cơ lo lục cơ nữa bố sáng cả bây giờ đời nó mà thế đó gì cho địa cho bây giờ đời sở chủ sơ sinh ở đây phòng có chúng mới dân họ sở đời sở chủ bây giờ chủ rồi nó mà giờ sơ sinh ở đây phòng có mới dân sẽ ở đây phòng hơn我说的叫那么。
我知道了。
How's dinner? Is it good? All right. I have a letter here that we want to read from U.S. Congresswoman Betty McCollum. Dear Senator Foung, I am deeply disappointed that due to COVID, I am unable to attend your campaign kickoff. But I am with you and your many supporters in spirit. Foung,
support your re-election to the Minnesota Senate, and I look forward to campaigning with you on the East Side. The Minnesota Senate needs your determination and passion to make lives better and create more opportunities of all of our families. Over the years, the voters in Senate District 67 have had the great wisdom to elect a leader to the Minnesota Senate who serves the people, represents the best of DFL values, and works tirelessly meeting the needs of St. Paul's East Side. I want to make sure, along with your supporters, that in 2022, you are sent back to the Senate to continue your important work. You have my commitment, Foung, to help your re-election, along with all our great 4th Congressional District DFL legislators and candidates. Thank you for all your service, leadership, and friendship. Best regards, Congresswoman Betty McCullough.
Chúng có thể cho nửa vị tiệm nó nói tôi chỉ cao vì khổ về thiên là này rạn lúc gì trong đầu thiên là này
我做那到了，我做到了现在的风，当车了被叫那个多弄了啦，也只摸那只摸弄了，这个钱呢要跑了的，现在的风，你一天要包这个钱，一天估计包这还是股还这个钱呢，要还得现在的风好，那么你要点到老我值呢。你点到了我拿我ซื้อ其他人来你一顿那叫上一顿拿ซื้อ这样子ก็เป็นเจ้าตัวใช้ช่องพันหนึ่งว่าเอาก่อนนี่จะก้าวตัวสนับสนุนเบย์คู่นะแกฐานนี่จะได้ลงจะเลี้ยรักเสียเบย์เขาเชื่อมั่นมาเบย์ชิมัวมิวสิกเนาะรู้ชอบมิวสิกแกยังอยู่รู้สินะ你呀，路大走，唐朝无岸山的风浪，北京成都，老街多准来民都忙得直了，特生我能中央手呀，老老努力靠爱路见面容然努力有，老爹祖家早给我老我这天手里老山一人。中梦路大城唐朝无间山的风儿，老北京成都老特生我能这样手呀，老多准来民都老，来知了特生我能这样手呀，老周里可爱路没见容然老里有，老爹爹山的风儿早给我拿多，老我只爱天手里人山梦儿，你呀。路两个，路在你进来的你是一家，站在八寨站了八双手，有马路没说不说可见，还黑香茶梦里来中一人。种菜能点肉能点，兄
chúng cho hai nâng tia tu mỹ tỏ mỹ á rung tia cho rung tòa lời nhưng nó tu rung rung nó rung chứ kê ya sa na tờ không ở ý lâm sa ý lòng chúng ca tu rung nó tu mỹ tỏ mỹ á sơ chạy qua sơ tòa lời ý tu ai tu rung rung nó rung chứ chạy ya sa na tờ không ở lo ý tu ai chung ó tha nâng cầu ó nó chạy bi cho tòa sơ tòa á sa na tờ cho lo qua ai tiền chỉ nhớ sa na tờ không ở nó gió kia nó cho lòng là cho cha tu tư chỉ sáng trẻ lo say mua我trong lần đầu nè 我中到那，我中到那，我说你姐，把这来，现在这风。chỉ ta nên là Zulu Red Ford Truck HA Sun xa gì bao nếu chỉ tao một giá nếu lúc chế nếu chỉ tao một chế là để thó nhà cơ
And kind, compassionate individual, Mr. Thomas Hurd.
He's lying. I'm not kind. Yeah, I just gave him water. That's a tradition. I know we have so many performers and singers and that, but we're running out of time. And before people go home, I want to say what I need to say. Okay, so be patient with me, and I thank you for your continuing support of Senator Hurd. Okay. 我那呢，我叫了大他，在这里就是就是这地这朋友，这多拉多路，这叫那叫我现在叫苦恼苦愁，也叫我这那弄那这样那样就那，我那现在叫地是，因为要那路现在叫风寒。 đây hút cho xe này sẽ là từ tua hút chính cầu giờ mua cam mò là bé trong bộ này nói chỉ tiêu đây cái dòng xe không cầu là nè thìวันนี้sẽได้cho lo lụt khóวันนี้sẽได้cho sư là này cho xả đi trà